It's Friday. You gotta love it. Wins and lessons Friday. What worked? What flopped? But most importantly, what did you learn?
Welcome to the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Another week, gents. Another week. We got like Lisa slaughtered this week. Jeff was just off his game.
You know
man.
what?
He's
Though
off
Richard
his
had
game.
two. I don't see Richard yet today. I'm sure. We'll
No,
see.
not yet. But we'll see.
Richard had
You know
two,
what?
so
I
shout out,
think
Richard. Good try. You
I
almost said
think it's
Lisa.
us. I think it's us. There's Antoine. Antoine, my man.
Antoine, what's up, man?
This is us going back and forth from events. I think kind of the event on Wednesday worked with Data Day. Actually, no, sorry, Thursday. Yesterday worked with Renee's session.
Yeah.
For all y'all that watched yesterday, actually, Renee is going to be on the 30th of June. He's rescheduled to come back the 30th of June, so we moved some things around to get him back on the show. But get him back on the show live because he actually watched the show yesterday. He's like,
I can't wait to hear him live.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to. What's up, fellas, man? Learning a lot over here at Beta Consulting Group.
What up, Trey?
Incredible journey. Yeah, buddy. Right on, brother. That's what it's all about, my man. That's what it's all about. Jeff says, hey, Marky Mark.
Yeah.
Funky bunch. And y'all remember when I was wearing y'all remember when I was wearing the Masters of the Universe shirt? Well, my man DJ comes out with a Cobra Kai today. Just like, yeah, buddy. Sweet. Wax on, wax off, brother. What are you talking about, man? That's awesome.
Right. Come on.
DJ got on, I go, dude, is that a Cobra Kai shirt? He goes, yeah. I go, sweet, man. That's awesome.
Shout out, Mags. Thank you, Mags.
Not to go too far off topic, but I did see something popped up in one of my feeds where, like, because I have a bunch of retro T-shirts as well. Maybe we should make that a thing on a Friday. But DJ, there was one that popped up, and it was from the movie Major League, which was set in Cleveland, right?
Yes.
And it looked awesome, mate. And I thought, if only I loved DJ enough to spend $11 on him, I would buy that.
I didn't make it there yet. Maybe soon.
That's what I'm missing from your collection.
Trey says, Dad, love that wall behind you. That is fire. Thanks, brother. That's our. I finally got my desk turned around, and I got the map behind me. My wife got for me, and it's a map of everywhere we've been. So and everywhere we want to go, and we put different pins on it since we've been married. So that was pretty cool. So that means a lot to me, that map. But yeah. So, guys, wins and lessons, man. What was the week like? Who wants to start?
DJ, why don't you?
That sounds like your teacher's asking you to solve a problem.
Yeah. I'll start. Yeah. No, this week.
I didn't do that homework.
Well, so first big lesson, I will say, we'll start off with that was technical difficulties this week and some mixing up and calling audibles. We learned to deal with the audibles, Dan. But our guest, we had the issue with Tony having to leave on Tuesday a little bit early, so we apologize for that, guys. And then obviously the mix up on Thursday. But yeah, Restream has been acting up. We have some things, so we're learning. We're not as techie as we thought we were. Or I thought I was.
Well, I learned that lesson this morning. I'm talking to server people for a project they got coming up, and I'm like, and I'm sure I'm looking. You ever have that conversation where you're looking at somebody and you're nodding, and in your head you're going, they have no idea what I'm saying.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that was the look I was given, and they stopped talking. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what that means. And I'm a pretty techie guy. Like, I love tech. I've built countless websites. I deal in server back-end stuff all day long. And some of the things that I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? What do I need to do? And like, I took 4 pages of notes. And then you ever do that? You hang up from the call and you're looking at your notes. You're like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, where do I even start?
For my notes. Yes, sir.
So go on, DJ. Sorry, brother.
So I learned that as well. So yeah, that was a great lesson. Wins, big win this week. Besides some great connections. Shout out Becky. Great talk yesterday. And Mike, looking forward to talking to you as well. And then Dianella got some fun stuff going on. But then big thing was being able to finally meet with like so there's four family members that own the flea market that we're purchasing, and I got to meet with. It was almost like a here's the final stuff, because we're in the negotiations now, and it was almost like here's the final stuff. Let me just make sure, like, because this is a very long drawn family business, been around for a long time, so it's kind of like, hey, are you the right fit? And I think it was like a test or like a face-to-face meeting almost, in a way, and went amazing. So that was
good. Glad to hear, brother. Glad to hear. And why wouldn't it be a face-to-face test? Like, as much as money's involved, if you've been in it, and it is your blood, sweat, tears, pride, you want it to go to the right people, right?
Yes.
There was a lady in our town when she was selling her business, and there was like 3 or 4 people that walked in, and she said, nope, I'll only sell it to the right person.
Yes.
Right.
And
it matters.
That's what I think was going on with this. So yeah, I appreciated that. I loved it. It was a great talk. I learned a lot.
And you passed the quote unquote test?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're a DJ. Why wouldn't you?
Come on, no,
come on, you're DJ. You wore a little Cleveland swag. You put on the smile.
There you go.
You may as well just have had that shit stamped before you even went, man.
I just needed the stamp of approval, really.
Man, did you see the smile of that guy? He's always smiling.
He is always smiling.
We told him it'd be $50,000 for the air conditioner. He's like, sweet.
That's how I got people to buy things. Yeah, it's going to be $1 million. It's okay. You can afford it.
You can do it. Sweet. Good one, brother. Good one. What else?
Thank you. Oh, it was great. So yeah, birthday week was awesome. Had amazing time. So, and thank you everybody for the shout outs. And that was really nice.
Sweet. Mr. Ridley, what's happening with you, Green Shoots?
It's been a bit of an up and down week, really. I'm still kind of at the tail end of getting over the COVID issue from last week, but we're all good.
Oh, how is the vid? How's the family?
So Baxter still nothing. Like, tested him every other day, like nothing came through. I tested negative earlier on in the week. My wife was due to appear in a movie this week, but couldn't, because even though her home test said that she was negative, the PCR came back that it was positive. So the movie crew said, no, that's off. So I'm in the doghouse right here, right now. So I'm sure there's a lesson in there somewhere, and we'll think about what that is. I guess it's actually kill all my friends and don't ever go and see anybody ever again, so I never actually get COVID. So my wife can appear in a movie for like 20 seconds.
So let me get this straight. You got to go to Portugal to golf, and your wife was scheduled to appear in a movie, and because of your golf trip, your wife didn't get to go in the movie.
Oh, why
now, dude, if that's not a country music song, I don't know what is right there. That is.
I'm actually still putting my foot down with a firm hand and saying there's no real evidence that I did bring it back from Portugal. It does look likely, like I might have done, but we don't know that for sure. So I'm kind of I'll say that here. Obviously, if my wife's standing next to me, I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I'm an idiot. I'm really an idiot. And I love you loads. So that was, I'm sure there's a lesson in there somewhere. That was definitely, I know we're not doing wins and losses, but that was definitely a loss for me this week. Future win, Father's Day Sunday. Super looking forward to that. So I'm going to have a nice, super lazy day. But this week, so being a little bit off the game, there are a couple of days where I feel like I was really unproductive. And it was only like after a couple of days, I kind of sat back and thought, what am I doing different these last couple of days that I haven't been doing usually? Like, what rhythm why have I lost this rhythm? What have I fallen out of line with? And it's a simple thing. Like, I'm a big list man. I always have been. Like, and I think it's that satisfaction of crossing stuff off of lists. So I love a to-do list, and just quite simply had really kind of fallen by the wayside of just creating that morning, like doing that morning routine of like, okay, what does my day look like? because I had a couple of days where there were like plenty of meetings in the calendar, but they weren't. Sometimes they're back to back to back. Sometimes there might be a meeting, a half an hour break, a meeting, a 20-minute break, a meeting. And that was this kind of couple of days. And because of that, I wasn't like really planning my day very well. So I was finishing a meeting, hurrying to do some of the follow-up, jumping, like doing a little bit of pre-meeting stuff for the next one, having the meeting, jumping off of that, doing follow-up for the previous 2 meetings. So I wasn't like, didn't really sort of sit back and say, you know what, why don't you just have the calls, look at the notes at the end of the day, do the action points, because guess what? Like, there's no expectation the moment that I put the phone down that everything I said I was going to do was going to be done in the next 20 minutes. I've always strived to try and do that. And it drives my wife nuts that, you know, I've been late for dinner dates. I've missed events because, I've got to get this done. And she's like, no one's going to die and no one's going to give a shit if you're 30 minutes not, you know, behind doing the action point that you said you were going to do. And it's true. It is true. But I can't not follow up like super fast. And I know it's often ineffectual and a waste of time. And it just knocked me out of kilter for a couple of days. So, so the lesson there is to basically go back to just what I usually do, my normal routine, which is just be calm, be collected, write your schedule out in the morning, and stick with it. And usually if I've got like 7 or 8 things on the to-do list, pick the 2 or 3 that are like super important. What do you absolutely need to get done today? Like, what is because otherwise I'll end up doing like 3 minutes out. I'm still waiting for the test and I'm a bit worried about it, but like, I think I might have ADD. So like, because I'll do 5 minutes here and then I'll start another thing over here. Then I'll start another thing over here. And then, you know, it's not as effective as you think it might be. And I'm not saying like ADD lightly, like to take the piss out of anybody that might be like afflicted with ADD. I genuinely think that is an issue that I have. So, yeah, so we are in the process of trying to figure that one out.
Interesting.
There we go.
You know, if there's one thing I could share with you, brother, is tried the whole proposal in 3-second thing, and it never really works because you end up having 6 or 7 or 8 emails going back and forth. The ability just to sit down and even an extra day, like set the expectations accordingly, but even an extra day. You know, there's actually been a lot of people have had to talk where, you know, no, I wait 24 hours to get anything over because, you know, you want to think it through and you want to make sure you're hitting the points, right? Because a proposal is really your sales document to close the deal. So if you just put a proposal together to put it together, or you put one together to hit the points of areas that we were talking about to achieve 2 different types of proposals, one's way more powerful, right? But
100%.
Brother, been there, done that a million times, and it's never effective.
I was gonna say, Mark, I know exactly the feeling, man. When it's that, the key thing you said was being self-aware. You're like, hold on, what am I doing? What am I doing different? So that first trigger, or noticing that, and then just saying, okay. And so what I would do, I noticed that, and it's just, I think it's all. I think being saying you have ADD. I think all high performers kind of have ADD because we want to do so much and we're wanting to go so high. It feels like we have ADD. I feel like I have ADD, although I don't think I actually do. But it's just because there's so many things I want to get done, like you're saying, and so like I'll feel that internal rush, like panic. It instantly turns into panic, and then it's like, hold on, no. If I just drop everything, or what my next step was, to hurry up and do this because I screwed up and didn't like plan ahead of time, I'm just screwing up everything. So I'll stop myself, because I used to get totally out of control, where it was like almost like my heart, I could feel my heart like really, and then it was like, okay, hold on, stop. And that's where I would just stop. And then I'd say to myself, and I'd say the same thing, like, hey, bite the bullet. Whatever you didn't plan, you fucked up. Like, it's just going to be late. It's going to be whatever. It's not prepared. It is what it is. And just continue.
Yeah.
But big 4, big 5 things. That was my trick.
Right. One of the things that they encourage our son to do at school, well, all of the kids for that matter, is to stop stop, drop, and breathe. Like, just take a moment to step away from the situation, and then that kind of just removes that mist. So I find that that works for me. So Dan, to your point about almost like taking your time, 24 hours to think about that proposal when it goes out. I often do that with email as well. Like, I'll write something and it might be getting a bit technical, might be getting a little bit into the weeds, which is often the case with me. And so I'll then walk away, do something different, or like actually walk away, not do something different at my desk, actually leave the desk, go away, make a cup of tea or do something. And then when I come back to it, I'm reading it as if like, who the hell wrote this? And then you have to, then you take what's this big and you kind of condense it into like, oh yeah, actually I was way too wordy there. So I do that. I do actually do that quite a bit. But this week I just felt, I don't know, just like completely got out of kilter. It was just like an anomaly in some respects. But hopefully we're back on it. Like this morning I made my list. So I'm super happy with it. Super happy with where we're going today.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing: when it comes to lists and all that, you're setting intentions before the day actually starts.
Right.
And like intention is everything. Everything. Like without intention, we lose so much opportunity. So much opportunity. It's freaking crazy. So good for you, brother. You know what? Realizing it is the first step, right? You realize, okay, listen, like I got this issue, I got to get it taken. Like, yeah, you're doing it right, man.
Yeah,
I will tell another big loss that I just I remembered it actually. So Wednesday was so good, and I was such in the clouds, not thinking after the meeting and all of that. I ran out of gas. I never running out of gas. That was a big loss, and it was super hot. And I was sitting there, and people are like, I'm sure people are looking at me like, is it because gas is so expensive? Like they're probably thinking all of these things. Like, can you not afford it? Is it? And I'm thinking like, I wonder if somebody's going to stop. What are they thinking? So Maggie comes because we have the gas can, and this kid stops. He sees the gas can that we use for like the lawnmowers and stuff because it was still full with gas. So I said, just bring that. And so he said, "Oh, what do you? That's like, did you bring that out of the vault for to fill up your car?" And I just started cracking up laughing.
You got like armed guards around you while you're putting it in your car so somebody doesn't come and steal it. Yeah.
Hold on, my security's not here. This is worth a lot of money. Yeah. So yeah, that was a big loss. Really fun though. But pay attention to that little light on there. Really means something.
I'm always of the opinion the light's on. It's like, no, I got another 10K. I could get there. I've got like blocks.
I seen it when it was too late going on the highway, and the gas station's there, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll get off here. No, I didn't make that. Yeah, I didn't make that.
Dude, I can't tell you how many times that my wife and I have had that scenario where like the light comes on and she's like, 32 miles. We have 32 miles. Everything is fine. And I'm like, yeah, but we're on a highway, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty shit at most subjects, but my one good thing is math. And we've just gone past a sign that says 40 miles to the next exit. So I think we might be in a bit of trouble. And yeah, sure enough, there we were. But pay attention to those little things. But those are indicators in life as well, right? So it's not just the light on the dashboard that says, hey, you need gas. There's the other indicators that are around us in life that say, hey, why don't you stop? Why don't you think about doing this?
I like how he tied it to that. Look at this.
Mark, that was one of the best transitional phrases I've ever heard.
That really was.
That segue?
Awesome. I felt like I was saying it for a second, then I was like, hold on, Mark's saying this.
That was classic, brother. But you're so
pay attention to your internal indication.
Yes. I'm telling you.
How many of you ever got up in the middle of the night and were frustrated because you got to get out of bed, but you got to use the bathroom, and you come around the corner in this cranky mood and you smoke your baby toe and break it in the middle of the night? That ever happened to you guys? And then all of a sudden you realize, you know what?
The leg of the bed.
Yeah. Let's just walk a little slower around the corners and maybe just put your hand down and kind of see where the corners are. Yeah, that happens all the time. There's a sign. There's your sign.
It's my right shoulder. We've got a small corridor leading out of the bedroom, and every time I bash my shoulder into the into the wall, and I'm like, dude, you're almost 50. How can you not fit
That
through this
door's been
4-foot
there ever
gap.
since you moved.
Yeah, it has. It has. And it's not like it's pitch black. I'm like, why? You're an idiot. Seriously, how do you function?
Brother,
How do you get up in the morning?
I got these things on my arm for my type 1 diabetes. Okay. Do you know how many I take off on door frames? Like, I couldn't even tell you how many times a year I walk into a room and all of a sudden it goes rip. And I mean, we're talking, what, it's hanging a quarter inch off my arm. Like, and I'm like, are you kidding me? There's all this room and I'm like this close. And every 2 weeks it goes on a different shoulder. So it's not like I'm just like, you know, how some people on the highway hug the left side or the right. Like, that's not no rhyme, no reason. Just walk through a door and it goes rip right off. And I'm like, come on.
It's because you're a beefcake. That's
yeah,
what
okay.
it is. You've been working out a bit.
And
also, that's
through the door.
That's not for type 1 diabetes. That's one of those little discs so your wife can tell, like for your iPhone, so your wife can tell exactly where you are. No. Put this on for your diabetes. It's going to keep you alive. Oh, yeah, I'll do that, love. No problem. And she's like, I know where you are. You bastard. Get out of the pub.
What's up, Nick? Happy Friday, Nick.
Yes, Nick says happy Friday, and then he says, "Oh, happy Friday, let's go, guys." Trey says, "I found out I have OCD, which made makes a lot of things make sense." Yes, OCD is another one that is.
I just think it's high performance. I really do.
I think you got me in the wrong group, mate. You've got me in the wrong group.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, my friend. That's why you're here.
You know, it's you know, there's that fine line between like delivering and perfection, right? And I think a lot of high performers get stuck on that perfection piece. Yeah. You know, I've heard about this so many times.
Perfection every time.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember when I released my first course, like it was, you know, the challenge was get it out in a week, and I filmed it in a week, and it took me 3 weeks to edit it. And I was like, why is it taking me 3 weeks to edit it? Just release it. Everybody's going to get a different thought on it. Like even now, I was actually just telling my wife this morning, I have 21 courses on logistics sales, on all different parts of logistics sales. And, you know, one win for me was yesterday when we were watching the Renee Godefroy interviews. Big win was I've gotten better at this stuff. And it was actually hey, DJ, like you saw those, right? And I'm like, oh yeah. So the and it's so not me. Like you know, the whole like Mr. Burns from Simpsons kind of thing. And I'm like
nervous or something.
Well, nervous, and then I'm like, and part of me says like, so we're going back. Those videos were from 2009, 2010. Crazy. So. I have more hair, which is spectacular to see, because it really, you know, talk about like pouring salt on the wound. So, I mean, listen, I'm follically challenged right now, and I was follically challenged. I mean, not as much as you two, but I was follically challenged earlier. You know what I'm saying? And do you use like beeswax on the top of that?
I know that thing is shiny.
It's weird.
I love it. I never get it like that. I'll have to try that one time.
But you know, here's the big kind of lesson: is do it over and over and over and over and over again. And yesterday was a real confirmation of the confidence competence loop that I talk about quite a bit. And it's, you know, creating that competence to get the confidence, and then that creates more confidence to raise that bar, raise that ladder. And just another sign, if you will, you know, you talked about signs and they're there and the lights coming on in cars and that kind of stuff. You know, that sign that just do it and it gets better, it gets easier, it gets less scary. Like I'd sit down with anyone and probably not be nervous at all at this point. But I remember when I first met Bob Burr. If any of y'all haven't read any of the Go Giver series of books, you got to read those series of books. Go Giver Sells More, Go Giver Management, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I remember when I first met Bob, like I would literally watch the sweat drip right off my hand as it was coming closer to the time where he was going to log on to Skype and we were going to record. Because I had, like, that was so far out of my realm of even, why does this person even want to talk to me? I think I had 4 followers at that point, like 4 people on my email list. I think my videos were being watched by maybe 3 people, and one was my wife and one was my mom. You know what I mean? Like it was, and probably one was me just watching the edits. Like there was 0 following, there was 0. Yeah, I'm serious. There was 0 following, there was 0 anything. And I'm like, why? Why would these people want to talk to me, right? And it was like, okay, they're okay. And some weren't. Some people that I reached out to after I read their book were like, well, how many people do you have following you? And I'm like, well, not very many. I'm just starting to, like, yeah, come back to me when you got like 3,000 people that follow you. And I'm like, okay, never going to come back to you, but okay. Because it's not now it's not about, helping. It's about how many people can I get exposed to, which to each his own. But yeah, that was the kind of big win for the week was realizing that we do get better with the more we do things. And listen, we all have our own style, right? We all have our own style. We all have our own way of doing things. That's why certain markets are attracted to certain people. Certain markets are attracted to other people. It's what it is.
Have you found that the older you get, or the longer you've been doing this, the less you really do worry about what other people think?
Oh, yes.
Well, and obviously knowledge and experience. I mean, just the confidence you get from that is there's when you feel like,
I wish I wish early on in my career, I didn't care what people thought.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times I felt paralyzed in the area that we were to make cold calls, thinking, that sales rep's doing pretty good. He's probably going to think I'm an idiot. But like, nobody listens to you. And if somebody listens to you, so here's what I've realized, and everybody watching and listening, and you guys, please correct me if you did, or let me know if you disagree. I think everybody, when you first get into the industry, when anyone trying something new, I think everybody gets a little nervous in some which way, shape, or form, hesitant, nervous, whatever the case may be. And by you stepping out and actually making the call, so if you're in like a development center in a pit kind of area where there's boiler room where there's a whole bunch of people making calls, the people on each side of you and behind you are probably just as nervous of you hearing them as they are of hearing you. But then stop and think, how many times do you actually stop and go, oh my God, did they just say that? Oh man, they're gonna get shot down. You don't. You're so focused on your thing. And I really do. I wish I would have learned that earlier in my career, because it would have just.
I'm so glad you brought that up, and I'll tell you, for anybody who feels like they have that, anybody who's listening who feels like they have that, a trick that I did would be, I would just tell myself, because I was scared to death the same thing. Oh my God, what if I say something stupid and this person hears me say this or say this wrong, and they're wondering. But I would just say they're only listening to me. So what I would tell myself is they're only listening to me because they think that I'm doing something better than they are. Otherwise, they wouldn't even want to listen to me. And once I started to think that, it was like, okay, well, if they're listening to me, they must just want to pick something up that I'm saying or doing. And when you just flip, again, it's just a paradigm shift, mind change.
But it's one that can paralyze you. And again, you look at the simple thing of half an hour a day of lost productivity is 2.5 weeks of productivity at the end of the year. Very simple, very simple. And that half hour can come in procrastinating 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, just picking up the phone, right? Procrastinating on a proposal to send back, procrastinating on anything. Like, you think about how little time you have to, quote unquote, waste every hour to get 30 minutes of lost productivity at the end of the day. Like, I guarantee everyone, all of us, have probably a good extra 2 hours in our day that we could capitalize on and be way more productive. Way more productive.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, maybe even 4 hours. Like, some of y'all, even 7 hours. Like, let's be realistic again. But again, realistic, right? Like it goes back to Grant Cardone's 10X book.
Yep.
Where he says, got a call from a buddy of mine on Sunday. Hey, man, you watching the football game? Or got a text, hey, man, you watching the football game? He says, yeah, man. You? He goes, yeah. He goes, don't you need to raise 10 grand for your business? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, so what are you doing watching the football game? Right? This is your business. This is your life. This is your career. So, again, it goes back to that question. Are we willing to invest what it takes. Renee said it yesterday on his video. And for y'all that didn't see it, go back to yesterday's podcast and listen to it, because he said, here's the thing. What most people say they want, their actions do not show what they say. It's a complete separation.
Yeah.
This is the big reason for Wins and Lessons Friday, is because, like, DJ, what happened this week? This was a loss. What did we learn? What have you put into place in order for that not to happen again?
Yeah.
Like, this is how we grow. High performance or not, logistics sales or not, I don't care what it is. The performance area in our life is grown on lessons.
Yeah.
You know what? I screwed the pooch this week. I did this, and this instead of what I was going for. I say I want this goal, but none of my actions equate to that. Emerson said it best. What you do screams so loud I can't hear a word you say. And that's key.
Yeah.
And that's, DJ, that's the reason every time you say something, they say, so DJ, and you're like, yes, I know, Dan, I implemented this.
That's right. But I'll tell you, but it's huge. And I'm sure it helps other people. If that helps anybody else, seeing me get called out on that, I mean, it's a trigger. It is a trigger that now I do. And so thank you for that. Seriously. I appreciate that. But yeah.
And it's something we got to consistently ask ourselves. And if I could make one suggestion to everyone, and everyone's different, if you guys are interested, I'll share with you my formula. But it's so important that as things happen to us, we put things in place. Say, okay, I don't want that to happen again. Why did it happen? And what did I learn from it? And what can I implement now? And if you take this back to customer service and adding real value to your customer, hey, here was the service failure. Okay, why did it happen? Well, it was the carrier. No, there's a little more to it. Why did it happen? And what are we putting into place to make sure this doesn't happen again? And then what are your checkpoints after you put that into place to make sure people are living up to it? Because people get complacent. I've told you guys a story about pharmaceuticals got very complacent. It was dedicated business. It was 3 times a month, 4 times a month sometimes. Transfer of freight. It was like 1.6, 1.4, 1.6, $1.2 million worth of freight. And the carrier got lax, and we got lax in asking the questions and reminding the drivers and everything. And it equated to over $250,000 quarantine and cleaning project. And we walked out by the skin of our teeth, losing a multi-million-dollar client. Like, we were able to keep the client, but it was only by the skin of our teeth. And it was only because of the relationship. And it was because of the fact that I came out and said, no, my bad, we screwed up, but here's what we've put into place so it will never happen again. We identified the root cause and then figured out solutions and put mandates in place so it would never happen again. It's the only reason we kept them. It works, makes for a great story. But when you're going through it and it's 2 a.m. and you get calls in your home line from the customer screaming, it's not a pretty place to be. And if you just ignore that, then that's how you falter. And that's how you never grow to that next level. Because you guys both know it. It's when challenges occur where real opportunities on the table. Mm-hmm. It's not when things are going great. When things are going great, everybody's friggin' happy, and it's like Pollyanna and rose-colored glasses and all this other shit. It's when things go wrong where your true colors shine.
Yes.
Right? And if you're really
show if you're really chasing the right thing.
Well, that's it. And if you're really in it for the customer, that's where you shine. But you can't do it if you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again without learning from them.
It's funny you say that. Like, one of the organizations I worked for, Deutsche Bank in the UK for a bunch of years, and I can remember the team that I was heading up at the time. We had a couple of large clients that were with us, and they were going to run through an RFP, which they do every couple of years or so. And often, I mean, as you know, when you have RFPs in your work, if you can get a client or a prospect to avoid going to an RFP and just either keep the business with you or move the business with you, because it's a pain in the ass for them to have to go through this sometimes, but understand the evaluation process that's needed. And I can remember saying to this client, like, I wish that we could just fuck up once in a while so that you could see the true value that we bring as humans, because everything is so like, it was so regimented, it was so straight through, everything worked really well, implementation was great, the pricing that was in stayed in, nobody deviated from anything. But the true value I always felt was like, how could we differentiate ourselves from the other banks? Because largely what we're selling is commoditized. it's price and it's people. And so we'll always be able to be better on price, but we need to demonstrate the value of the people in the organization. So yes, there are other ways that you can do that in terms of managing a relationship, but like it's the operations guys that like, I don't really care about like being taken out to play golf. I just want to know that when the shit is the fan, stuff's going to get sorted out. So they're the people that we were trying to convince. They were some of those were the decision makers. And excuse me, when things are working really, really well, it's great. And you can always point to that, but then you've always got the Bank of Americas and the Wells Fargos and the JP Morgans, like my competitors, that are going to be coming in with a different kind of angle. But if there was a mistake that we made and we corrected it and we put some, processes in place and we did it super fast, hopefully it wasn't necessarily our mistake, but like, then you start to really show like the true value of you as a human in that organization. And that's what I always try to sell myself. Like that was always my differentiator, like was me. You're buying some services from me, not just the bank. Like you're getting me as part of the package. I hate saying that because it makes it sound like I'm half decent at what I do, but like I always, try to demonstrate a high level of client service, even in a management role. Like I always felt like doesn't matter what job we're doing, we're all client service officers at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if you're the CEO of your own business. It doesn't matter if you're like managing a team as I was. We're all, really service individuals. So.
Mark, if I can share something with you that I think might really help you is, I understand that position where you wish sometimes something would screw up so you have an opportunity to shine. I would go back to customers that were screwed up before you got involved and write a serious reference letter where here was my problem, here was my problem, here was my problem, here was my problem. Now they're solved because of Green Shoots and Mark and his team that did XYZ. And you can actually send those to clients to share some of the nightmares that they're not being involved in. Might be a pretty cool tool because as much as you wouldn't be able to show them that opportunity, you can show them that through other customers before they got involved with you and create that vision, that for lack of a better term, that wonderland that you bring, but sharing with your customers that this is what's actually out there. You're in this bubble, you're in our cocoon of Green Shoots FX because you want to be the elite of the elite. Here's some horror stories we've walked into and solved. And that'll actually be even more powerful because it's coming from their peers that they felt that challenge before, or they'd be able to feel what it would like to be in that challenging situation.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of we got
to close out too.
So Trey says OCD he says this week completed 9 days of 75 hard, only 66 more to go. Way to go, Trey.
Nice.
Way to go. Nick says got to get into this.
Nick,
Jeff says
reach out. I want to start that too, actually.
Jeff says make sure your phone is charged 24 hours. Make it happen around the clock. Absolutely. I don't know how many times you're like, my phone just died. And you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Daman says, well said, Dan. Yes, 100%, brother. We've got to hold ourselves accountable.
Have to.
Holding ourselves accountable will lead us to become better week after week. Imagine the improvements we can make in our lives over the course of the year if we do this weekly. Like, huge. That was big. That was powerful, Daman. Just like the moon, shine in darkness. You got that right, Maggie. And Jeff says, it's all about people skills and how you communicate. This is the declining factor in the deciding factor. Wow, Dan. Deciding factor on whether you win or lose. Very powerful, Jeff. DJ, we actually, you know what? We got so much on the topic here. We got to do this very quickly. Here is your lane of the day. So today is a week in review. So let's just review this. So dry van on the 17th was line haul rate per mile was $1.96. It was down 4 cents a mile, down 39 cents a mile year over year. And the all-in rate is $2.77 on average, 5 cents a mile lower than 2018, underpinning the slow start to peak season and high fuel surcharge, Dean says. We also talked about reefer at $2.23 a mile, down 3 cents a mile, down 48 cents a mile year over year to a $3.04, 11 cents a mile lower than 2018. And then finally, we talked this week about flatbed. $2.60 a mile, down 2 cents a mile, and that's down 10 cents a mile year over year, sitting at an average all-in rate per mile at $3.41, which is actually 18 cents a mile higher than 2018. And that's underpinning just how strong the industrial economy is at present. So thank you very much to Dat for that lane of the day as well, and the week in review. To Dean and Christina, thank you so much for getting us that data the night before. DJ, what y'all got to bring us out of here, brother?
All right. Well, hey, thank you all for another amazing week. Thank you guys for joining us as you do weekly. We do this for you. We'd love doing this. I would do this I think me and Dan would do this even if there was just his mom, him and his wife.
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%.
And Maggie, if it was just us four. So thank you. Seriously, we do love doing this. Hopefully you all are getting as much out of it as we do. Thank you to American Logistics, Centurion Trucking for making this possible. Daman for always being there and giving us the great feedback. And thank you to our guest. I know we had some issues this week. We got some great guests next week. I know Dan talked about that. Again, Sales Chatter Live. Don't miss us. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. till 9:30-ish Eastern Standard Time. Start your day right with us here. Again, we do replay this live, and all of our videos are stored. So we replay it live. I think we're only going to replay it live now on LinkedIn. But all of our videos are stored as well on our YouTube channels. So check out Sales Chatter Live or Dan Deegan YouTube channel if you want to see any of our past videos. Quote to take us out today is from George Hallis, and it's nobody who ever gave his best regretted it. Know your best, do your best. You'll never regret anything you do.
Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of Daman at American Logistics or Centurion Trucking.